Kenya's Prime Minister is blaming enemies of his country for Monday's brazen daylight killing of Muslim cleric Aboud Rogo Mohammed. The shooting ambush of Mohammed's vehicles triggered 2 days of riots that killed 5 people, including 3 police officers. Raila Odinga said on Wednesday that Kenya developed enemies after it sent troops into neighboring Somalia last October to fight Islamist militants. A measure of calm, though, has returned to Mombasa today after the clashes, as 24 youth were arraigned and charged with participating in a riot in violation of Kenyan law. A local magistrate ordered the suspects to remain in custody until September 3rd, when they're scheduled to return to court. Rioters set fire to at least 6 churches, stoking fears that the unrest may become more sectarian, even further straining Muslim-Christian relations. And for more discussion on the rising tensions in Kenya, we are joined by Abdushakur Aboud, a journalist with VOA Swahili service. Abdushakur Aboud, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you, Ndimyake.
So tell us about what you are hearing as you're covering and following this story very closely, at least in terms of the assertions by Prime Minister Odinga that these are crimes of enemies of the country.
Well, Odinga is saying crimes the enemy of the country. He's trying to refer to Al-Shabaab. Al-Shabaab has been accused of a lot of recent attacks in Kenya. But talking to locals in Mombasa, in around the area where the riot started, they are conflicting information. One should understand that Rogo was a very outspoken Islamic leader. He was among the people considered as the leader of Al-Shabaab in Kenya by the UN and the United States, though the people in Mombasa did not believe that. They feel that he has a following. He's a very outspoken spiritual leader, and they believe he's talking the truth about their faith. They feel that Muslims have been marginalized in the coast province. So there is that issue between the coast people and the government. So Raila is coming to say it is Al-Shabaab who is attacking, but others who we are talking today, actually after Raila saying that, we asked, they didn't understand why would he be a target of Al-Shabaab if he's a member of Al-Shabaab. Right. So that's where it's conflicting a little bit.
Now, some have even pointed their fingers, including Mr. Rogo's wife, at the police themselves, saying that they carried out this shooting. Is that a possibility?
Well, in Kenya, you know, right from before even the elections of 2007, Kenya is somehow well known for extrajudicial killings. There has been the Mungiki, who has been responsible of being used by the police and going and killing people. So people feel that there is a group of hooligans probably used by the security to remove Rogo because of his outspoken speeches. And this is the second killing of an imam, because in June, Samir Khan was also found dead. He's another vocal Islamic leader, but nobody talked about him. He was one of Rogo's close associate, and he was killed. So these 2 killings in a row, people started suspecting that there's something not right happening here.
And in addition to these 2, I understand in total there are about 5 who have either been killed or literally just disappeared because of their suspected links to the militant groups, Al-Shabaab, Al-Qaeda in general.
Yeah, this goes back because you should remember that Rogo was also was suspected for the 1998 U.S. Embassy killings, bombing, and then in 2002 he was arrested because of the Mombasa and Lamu bombs at the hotel. So there is a lot of suspicions, and the Muslims in Kenya, in Mombasa especially, believe that the Kenya has a special program where they have been taking Muslim leaders away of the country. There was a case where some were taken and then nobody knows where they have been and where they've disappeared. So there is that suspicion. The Muslims are not so confident with the government. And yesterday I talked with the former Minister of Tourism, Najib Balala, and he said the real reason is not a religious war here. It's hooliganism and the government not being able to handle the situation. And even the Minister of Defense today, Yusuf Haji, in Mombasa, while they were receiving a Navy ship which came to help terrorism, said that they underestimated the extent of the riots. They didn't really take into consideration that the riots were so big.
And I want to get to that a little bit. Obviously, Rogo has a big following, and I don't know if this riot that resulted from his killing was expected or not. But tell us a little bit about Rogo. I know that he was facing charges for possession of arms. He was also, of course, linked to Al-Shabaab and the greater Al-Qaeda movement. What is it about him that drew people so closely to him, even though you said he's so radical, and then resulting in this protest, 2 days, that literally destabilized Mombasa?
Rogo is one of those Islamic leaders in many communities. We are looking and seeing in many African countries. From Nigeria, you can see from Sahel and everywhere, where the youth are disenchanted, feeling they're being marginalized. And some of this, like Rogo was born in Lamu, northeast of Kenya. So he's a Kenyan. But he is one of those people who've got education from Islamic schools, and they feel there is a void between the government, the people, and the Islamic teachings. Yes. And they come up and they followed up the Al-Qaeda system of looking into people are not following the customs and regulations of Islam, and they have a very good eloquent voice, and they speak for the poor, they speak for the youth.
So he's
and those
a
are the
magnet.
Yeah, so he's a magnet to that people. He's speaking to those people who are being marginalized. He's talking about the problems that Mombasa is facing. There is a group, MRC, in Mombasa, in the coast, which is also calling about separation of the coast province, and it's creating a problem for the government. So you have a lot of issues around that area. So his voice, his way of speaking, his way of bringing out the message is attracting this youth, most of them who have no jobs, most of them who have been marginalized, and I think that's what he's becoming popular.
Well, hopefully this peace that has been at least attained in Mombasa will sustain. But thank you.
Thank you very much, Ndimyake.
All right. So that is Abdushakur Aboud of VOA Swahili Service, who joined us here on In Focus.